Hi and welcome back. My name remains Aya Jackson, and this is the World Changers Parenting Institute where we gather to apply parenting principles. We collect tools, we collect resources, we create awareness, and give support to parents in order to create the life of our dreams, to thrive, to take action so we can actually be on the right side of what of history and to make our own ways of creating impact, to leave a lasting legacy for ourselves and for our families. This is a place to build a family that is grounded and to create change in our world, because I believe that the change begins from our homes. And in this community, we learn to make a difference on a very deliberate level. You have been invited and welcomed to join in the movement. This is a parenting movement, and I am here to just provide the resources that you and I both need to change our world, to change our society, beginning from our homes, right? And I can tell that you can tell that I am excited about what we're doing right now. I really appreciate you for paying close attention to listen in order to, obtain new perspectives on what it is that I am discussing. Because in this community, yes, we're actually fostering a community of parents who are making, growth a priority, because I believe that growth is the only guarantee that tomorrow will be better. And I just enjoy witnessing the involvement of every one of us in the community. You know, I love your comments. I love how you're able to say, "Oh, I had no idea about what you were saying. Yeah, I needed to hear that." I like to see your comments in the cases where you tell someone that they are not alone, because it even makes me know that I am not alone. And it's a true conversation in that manner. And I call you my neighbor. I am unable to adequately express how I'm feeling right now, because I am just so grateful that parents are able to support one another, are able to speak up, and it's just empowering, honestly. And I know that you feel the same way. And I'm grateful that you have made the effort to spend some of your precious time with me. Thank you. So now all I want to do is go into this video, and I look forward to the feedback that will come as a result of what we'll do in this video. So if you're here for the first time, welcome, welcome, welcome. And if you've been through the previous videos, welcome home. Yes, this is your home. Together, we are going to understand the power of our children's childhood and how we should never underestimate the childhood of children. Isn't that a relevant topic? So I know how we are so busy as parents and we really do not have so much time in our hands. I mean, I talk to a lot of parents who want to help their children develop, help them discover their true giftings, help them to prosper, but they are anxious because the years roll on so fast. I mean, time flies, and I want all of our children to become agents of change. So I'm inviting you to come with me on this journey. You see, there were times earlier in my parenting that I began to think, what am I doing wrong? And if you're like me, I didn't even know I was very horrible at managing my time. Yes, see, I'm the kind of person that I'm a dreamer and I pursue what I want. And I used to have a to-do list for everything I want to do, and I'll be working for hours, but I still won't be able to achieve all that I have actually written out to do. And I ask myself, I feel overwhelmed. Why do I feel overwhelmed? What is the problem? What is it that I'm not doing right? Why do I constantly feel like I don't have enough time, even to do what I really want to do in my parenting? Do you know? It's just thrilling. And I came to discover that it takes the same amount of time for you to feel overwhelmed as the same amount of time for you to organize your life. And I didn't like it when my mentor told me that being busy was my own personal strategy in an unconscious way. And I used to think if I actually organized my life a little more, I thought that I won't be able to do so much more. But that was a lie. It took me a while to manage my time as a parent, and I'm still learning the skills to thrive in time management. We all can do more in a short time. That's one thing I just realized. And it's surprising that parents underestimate their children's childhood and get caught up in the very moment and become concerned with the things that are happening in the present more than the underlying issues that need to be addressed. And they are so busy. And the problem is that we are constantly being watched. I don't know if it's a problem or it's an advantage, but the truth is, what do you want your children to remember you for? What knowledge do you want to pass on to your children? What do you want your children to know about you? Now, I'm not trying to say that the goal is for you to be a perfect person, because there is no such thing as perfect parents. All of us are flawed. And we can be successful on our journey. We can have good success on our parenting journey. And one of the factors that lead to emotionally healthy people is their involvement with their parents. When parents show interest in the lives of these children and they are very much aware that they are being observed, that they are being imitated, that they are being monitored, and they give these children undivided attention, I realize that these children thrive better. And a lot of us are overworked. The time we spend with our children is constrained. And it's not just about the amount of time we actually spend or the quantity. Because in my perspective, both quantity and quality time is required in raising children. Your presence is significant, but we sometimes, are more concerned with our work, with other things, our reputation with other people, even people who do not even actually matter on our parenting journey. And look, I understand that our children are unaware of how difficult our professions are, and we have to keep up with our interests. And you may argue that raising children is quite expensive, which is not a lie. But I can't say that I can't blame you for working longer hours rather than spending more quality time with your children if you are going to parent with the end in mind. Do you understand me? Children are costly because they were not asked to be born, so we have to pay. And the world is in a system, in a structure that you have to pay for. Nothing is free. And I've seen children who actually get to spend time with their grandparents, and they feel like those times are more worthwhile for them because their grandparents aren't as so distracted by checking their phones every now and then, or by handing them a phone. Their grandparents are more involved in probably telling them a story, reading them a book, because they give those children the priority that they have. And I know that God hides grown-ups in children. So the question now is, what will our children become as adults? If we are to have a graduation ceremony for parenting, and each of your children clock 18, what do you want to have in place by that time? What do you want your children to say about you? Thinking about this is not just a guide for when things are actually going great in their early years. It's also a guide when things are not so going great in those tough times. And I remember having a discussion with my mother, and I told her something. I said, "Mommy, you are not a perfect mother. But one thing I can testify about my mother is that I knew, and everyone in my life when I was growing up knew that I was a priority. And not just me, all our children. See, mom will always reach out. My mother is very committed to her children. In fact, I feel it was to a fault, but she gave me her time. We sometimes worry, as I do, whether all I have to offer my children is not supposed to be more than good education, good food, good clothing, and a roof over their heads. Let me tell you something. Your children would rather have your presence than your gifts. Don't get me wrong. Children will really appreciate your gifts. They would accept your money, but they would prefer, because I believe that your presence is really more important in parenting. And it's not just me. According to research, children are unhappy when they see their parents being unavailable or inaccessible to them because they are busy. It implies that physical presence is just as vital, is just as important as what? Emotional presence. So, what are you doing right now that is taking away time from your childhood. Many times, events and activities appear in our life and we quickly succumb to them. And the quality of what we even get as a result of spending time together is nothing compared to, you know, the impact we are making in the lives of our children. Some of us are not even there for the important things in our children's life. We don't even know our children so well. And in your heart, you know it, that you're ignoring the vital things that are for your children. What are you willing to give up for your children to thrive? So I'm just asking you to join me as I share deeper insights in my search for parents to make a difference. I started it with my daughters and I shared with parents in the inner circle. I am sure the parents in the inner circle know what I am talking about. And study shows that the average parent spends 12 minutes a day with their children interacting. That's the maximum time that we all spend averagely. And the majority of that time is spent dictating to the children and ordering them around. Think about your own times of, interacting with your children. Personally, I decided to get engaged in more quality conversations and not just doing all the talking, commanding my children, complaining, correcting them, and all of that. I get down to their level to speak with them. And I have a set time in the day to interact with the children in my life. And it's all about making sacrifices. I was asking, what sacrifices are you making? Are you making individual sacrifices, professional sacrifices, travel and journey sacrifices for the sake of your parenting? I know many women who sacrifice their careers for children. I know parents in diaspora who are busy fathers, busy mothers, who are giving up so much, but they are unable to really spend that, see a positive impact that they are making in the lives of their children because they are busier than they thought they would be. I'm not saying that we should spend 24 hours with our children, but can we engage in a way that actually leads them to their destiny? And our young people, our children have counted days, just like you and I. Your 6-year-old is going to be 16 very soon, remember? And they are always watching us. They are being, there, imitating everything we are doing. And if we are not present with them, let's not be shocked that they will not be there for us later. And one advantage, please don't say God forbid. Don't say God forbid, because hope is not a strategy. When your children know you are there at home, they can relax and recover from the external pressures they are experiencing. So you need to make sure that you have a plan in place. And it's not about the size of the house or how much space there is or how clean everything appears to be. It's about creating a family environment that nurtures, true joy, peace, self-control, tenderness, that teaches discipline, that teaches values, that impacts values. These values are even something that the children will catch from you more than what you teach. A place where children can feel them free, be themselves, make mistakes. Even though you set boundaries for them, they still appreciate that, when they make mistake and they come back home, you're not unwelcoming. You're not comparing them to their siblings. You're not using verbal abuses, derogatory languages on them. And I know that we all are doing everything we can to offer a brighter future for our children. I know you're doing everything you can to offer a great future for your child. But what's the cost? Being busy has become a symbol of influence, of celebrity in today's world. But we must not trade time with our children for the badge of influence, for the badge of fame or whatever that the world has to give to us. Do not mistake, the power of the formative years of your children. That childhood is very precious. And starting with the single aim of reinforcing your commitment, let's talk about your child's 18th birthday. Because at the end of that 18th birthday, they would have spent 936 weeks or 216 months. And for every of your child's birthday, or you can't go back, you can't wind back the time. Time does not wait for us. So do our children. They can't wait. They will keep growing. And you see, our children are not less intelligent than we are. They are just brave in their own way. And they do not wait. They don't wait. Just imagine that I fill a glass of jar to be filled with, 216 weeks of marbles. And every week you are removing that 216 weeks until their 18th birthday. You know that it's going to be reducing. That's just the image I'm trying to create, that children don't wait. So what changes are we making? Time is a gift to all of us, and it is what we do with it that makes the difference. My mother used to say that respect the people that give you their time, because they give you something that they can never get back. Okay, so thank you so much for coming back again and again, and I hope that every video I set up adds value to you in a way that actually multiplies influence and transformation in our world. See, I believe in you, and I hope to see you again. And I'm your sister, I'm your partner in changing our world. This is not a monologue. We're in a true conversation. So please keep the comments coming, keep the engagement up, kindly interact and participate in our community. If something really stood out for you in all that I have said today, please and please, as you have jotted it down in your book, please share it with other parents on the Facebook community, on your timeline. Put hashtag World Changer Parenting Community. Tag me, Aya Jackson, and I look